Back here in Private Conversations with Toto Sicangco. Toto,
yes.
What brings you home?
Ayala Museum is doing a retrospective of my work, my design work for the past 32 years, which will, am I plugging? Am I supposed to plug?
No, that's okay. Yes, please.
Well, it opens.
I'd like people to come and visit this.
It's open October 25, and
runs till
January 11, I think.
So what do people see in this retrospective?
They will see my costume sketches. They will see set designs, sketches, and set models, actual scale models of some of my
miniature sets.
Yes, miniature.
Wow.
3D, and which has been keeping me up late for the past week since I got here, and because I'm restoring them, and some actual costumes on mannequins.
You were able to bring some of these costumes from New York to Manila?
Yes, thanks to Johnny Air. There's another plug right there.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. So who's putting Ayala Museum?
Yes, the show's being curated by Tats Manahan and
Hi,
Gino
Tats.
Gonzalez.
We're saying hello to a lot of friends here.
Hi, Tats. Hi, Gino. Here I am on TV.
Okay. And then it is being curated by
Tats. Yeah, Tats and Gino. Gino's designing the space, and I'm very excited about that.
October 25 until January.
Yes, a good 3 months. It's their holiday show.
What are you? Okay, so set designs, but who chooses what to show? Of course,
I am very bad at editing myself.
So
these are
you
all
leave
my
that to
Gino.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all like my babies, right? I mean,
it's
like
you've
choice
done
times 50, you know.
I know.
So I said, Gino, bahala ka. You know, edit me. So and it's great because my design sensibility tends towards the Baroque, and Gino's tends towards the minimalist. So I'm hoping, and I know I'm going to get a nice tension between the two.
That's great, because I want to ask you, which is easy? I don't know if this is a funny question, but which is easier to do, something that's minimalist or something that's maxim or Baroque? Is there a preference?
No. I think it has to do with the text. I think that, in my case, I mean, it is not. I don't wake up one day and say, "Oh, I think I'm going to do this minimalist because I want to." No, I mean, I think that well, in theater, basically, you're driven by the text, the script.
Right.
And the script will more or less, I mean, if you read it well, and the music, if it's an opera or a musical, will tell you sort of.
But it's not an easy life, because like, let's say Carmen, for example, has been done by other scenic or set designers in the past, for example, and then you do the text. How much freedom do you have actually to, let's say, depart from what was done in the past?
Well, that depends on, with Carmen specifically, well, that's an old war horse, right?
Yeah, right.
So I did a fairly traditional Carmen because that was New York City opera, and they wanted a traditional Carmen in that they could do it over and over because they had just done a Carmen set in Tijuana, of all places, during the Spanish Civil War, blah, blah, blah. And so that's not typical. I mean, you know, like you do. But you can play with it. Again, it has to do with the director as well. I mean, if
that comes into play, your relationship with the director.
It does come into play. Right. The director usually comes up with an idea, with a concept, which you reinforce. Or you can come up with something that he may be interested in. But
is there a trademark? I mean, for a scenic, for a designer, for example, can I tell as a viewer that you did it?
I sure hope so.
Di ba meron? I mean, what do you think is it? I mean, I don't want to pretend that I've seen a lot of your work, but
I think that I can't.
Yeah, of course.
I can't really, you know, say.
But there should be.
But people seem to think that when they look at my work that I'm really into detail. And a certain, this is going to sound cocky, but a certain elegance to the design, because I like elegance, like you, the way you look, you know?
Thank you. I'm very far from being elegant.
You are.
No, but do you bring into your work, for example, into your works in New York, something that's Filipino? Is there a conscious or subconscious effort in?
I probably think it's subconscious. I mean, I've answered this question many times, and I think that by virtue, I mean, you can't deny, I mean, my sensibility, my design sensibility is absolutely Filipino, and as a designer, one is very lucky to come from the Philippines because we have a myriad of influences. We're diverse. So we have American, we have a Spanish, European, Muslim,
Malay.
Yeah, all of that comes into play, and so it comes rather easy for me when confronted with a script. I understand cathedrals, and I understand nipa huts. I understand McDonald's, and you know what I mean?
Right.
And I understand Japanese temples.
Ang dami mong pinaghuhugutan, you can draw a lot
Yeah,
of
it's like you
things.
draw on
Right.
a lot, and it's just in you.
Right.
So
And it's something that's not taught in school, no? It's something that within you. I like it.
Yeah, and I think that comes into play when I used to teach at NYU. I had students from all over the world, and I was always interested in what they had, the way they looked at the text.
Oh, that helped you a lot also, because
Of
that
course.
exposure to a lot of
Of course.
nationalities, plus your own diversity.
Yeah, so I'm not really branding myself as a Filipino. It's just part of me, a good part of me. You know,
I like
but on occasion, like I will quote, I pay homage to like a Filipino designer or something. Specifically, I just did it's in the show, it's in Ayala. I did a new take on Cinderella called the plexiglass slipper. And I'd always wanted to do this, and there's a big wedding scene at the end. And I said, I've always wanted to do Ramon Valera. And the text feels really 60s to me. I felt like I could get away with it, and I did. And I finally got to do a Ramon Valera wedding gown, which totally freaked them out.
Wow.
They go, is that Balenciaga? I said, it's Ramon Valera from the Philippines.
It's Valera.
Yeah. Well, it's
Wow.
one of my idols, because he used to do my mom's recital dresses when she was singing.
He was
singing.
the Ramon Valera.
The.
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 Right. I mean, the venerable Ramon.
So that's my way of answering your question in that.
And I get it. And I get it. It's something that you don't actually consciously bring into the table when you make your designs, but it's part of you.
Yeah.
That just comes out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not like branding is very dangerous in our field. I mean, you don't say I'm a Filipino designer and this is what I do, but certain intrinsic qualities about you that you bring into the table.
Correct.
Right. No, but let's go back to your relationship with directors, cynic or set designers or costume designers. How much can you experiment in theater? How much risk can you actually take in, let's say, talk about theater first?
Well, hopefully you take a lot of risks.
Talaga? Without having to be limited by the text or by the material or what was done in the past about certain materials?
No. I never strive to be original, but I at least strive to be fresh. That work to be fresh, and
Those are two different things, fresh and original. All right.
Yeah. I mean, if the danger is always to just trying to be different for just the sake of being different.
That's not good.
That's just jerking off. You know what I mean? But the text, I mean, good texts
Yes.
are rich and can be interpreted so many ways. Shakespeare, for instance.
Right.
I mean, you can do, let's say you can do Twelfth Night many ways. I've done Twelfth Night set in Harlem. I've done Twelfth Night traditional. So, I mean, it's literature, the world of literature. I mean, and the artist in you comes in by the way you interpret the text and your personal opinion
About.
and take on what this text should look like when it comes alive on stage, or how the story should be told visually.
Right. Yeah, but how much does a director, a stage director, how much control does he have on your vision as, let's say, a set designer?
Well, theater is not a democracy.
It is not.
It is not a democracy. So the director has a lot of control. So in your career, but there are directors who are really into controlling, and there are directors who
defer to your artistic...
Exactly.
Yes, artistic
exactly. So
power.
it depends on the gig.
Right.
And when you meet those directors that you work with, that you can work with well, you marry them. I mean, not literally, but you form a relationship with them.
Yes. I mean, directors who give you freedom, and there are some directors who say, this is my whole vision, and you're just part of the team, and this is how I want you to do it.
I'm not interested in that. I
Right.
said you don't need a designer.
But there are. You don't need a designer.
You don't need a designer, you need a draftsman.
That's right.
You know, so thanks but no thanks. All right.
Let's talk about your relationship with actors when you do costumes.
You are there to, I love that. I love costuming actors, and hopefully they love me back. But you are responsible for making them feel confident, beautiful, or beautifully ugly. In other words, wearing the correct costume for the scene, and you're actually helping their performance.
Very much.
Yes, and they're very appreciative of that. And so, pardon me, when at a costume fitting, I always, again, theater is a collaboration, right? That's what defines it. So I always tell them, how do you see your character? How are you playing her? How are you playing him? What colors do you absolutely refuse to wear? You know, and that's where it starts, where you're starting to develop a relationship.
It's a tango, it's a dance.
Yeah,
Yes. You
Yeah.
talk, you converse.
Yeah, but ultimately, you are responsible for the way they look from head to foot and the way they feel, so that they can just go out on stage, I mean, and give a really good performance. Nothing, the biggest crime is making them feel self-conscious.
That's true.
Coming out on stage and not feeling like, confident.
Are there actors today who literally marry you when they do productions? Because there are.
No, you mean...
I mean, they request for you. I mean, some actors are comfortable with clothes or costumes made by certain designers. Do you
I
get
think
that?
they can only do that if they're superstars, meaning they have
Right.
power. But
be
I
able to
think,
demand.
yeah, the union rules and all of that, they have to go with who the designer is. Unless you're, I don't know, some famous actress who has it in her contract that I bring
That
my own
says,
designer, right?
that
right.
says, can I bring in my designer?
Yeah, Raquel Welch did that with the Three Musketeers, that movie.
Yes.
Consequently, she had the worst costumes in the film. It's all about her boobs, really.
All right. When you watch a movie, when you watch theater, how do you watch it? I mean, do you watch it from the point of view of?
I try not to. I try not to.
But hard.
I try and I try and become just an audience member. And
But
just, like,
hard.
enjoy it, But yeah, I notice certain things that other people won't. They're gonna go, ooh, that was it.
Can imagine.
Yeah.
Because, without having to pander to you, Toto, I mean, when you look at the sets or you look at the costumes of a certain production, I mean, they're just about everything that you are exposed to, especially in the beginning of a production. I mean, you see the sets and you see the costumes even before they start to sing.
Correct.
Or,
Correct.
So it gives you a lot of, power in terms of interaction with an audience.
You have first dibs at them. Yeah, they walk in,
Diba? I mean, the moment the theater opens, I mean, you know exactly what that experience is going to be through the costumes and, the scenic design.
And you, for the most part, you take them on a ride.
Right.
There's an arc to the evening.
Right.
And
Do you dream of working with certain directors, with certain actors, with certain, theater personalities? Do you have that in your consciousness?
It's not in me, really. It's like, no.
When do you know that
Actually, I did dream once that I really wanted to work with Bob Fosse, but then he died.
Yeah.
So there goes that dream, or then went that dream.
Well, today, if I ask you the same question, aside from Mr. Bob, as he, you would want, no. Is that something?
I'm hard-pressed to come up with an actor or a director.
Okay, how is life and how is a career in Broadway or off Broadway or in New York? Difference between a Broadway production and an opera, or how is it doing scenic design, costume design for film? I know you did Forbidden City. You did. There was another film that you did with Coppola.
Oh, Cotton Club. Yeah.
Cotton Club, right? Tell us about these experiences when we come back.
Okay.
You're part of this private conversation I'm having with Eduardo Sicangco. Stay with us. Back in a moment.
See you, the more I want you. Somehow this feeling just grows and grows. With every sigh, I become more mad about you. I'm more lost without you, and so it goes. Can you imagine how much I love you? The more I see you, as years go by, I know the only